Now we're back at Geelong, and this was in October when the South Australians have their Labor Day, and quite a fair crowd of them came over from Adelaide, and there's Morrie's little traction engine in Geelong, driving up Little Myers Street.
I tell you what, the Geelong show last year, it was a pleasure to photograph all this stuff with video.
Oh, I could imagine so. There's some great exhibits down there too.
Workmanship, yeah.
Yes, magnificent. And they've turned the corner and now driving down Ballerine Street. There's Claude Miller's 600. Beautiful locomotive. One of the best I've ever seen. I had the pleasure of driving that shortly after that shot. Yes, there I am driving the 600.
Well done.
That's Billy Troughton's Betty, little locomotive called Betty. There's Vino Toole talking to Terry Middleton, who was the foundation president of the railway when it was on the Belmont Common, John.
Oh, was there?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
They're now shifted to Queenscliff. And it looks like we're up at Puffing Billy. So we're on to what we call 12 inches to the foot gauge. And it looks like we're down at Goolwa with one of the paddle steamers. It looks like Goolwa Port. Goolwa. And I think that's the Adelaide in dry dock. I think she was in dry dock for a long time in the park up at Echuca, which they've since got in the water and restored, I understand. Now this will be an early steam convention at Echuca, which is held on Queen's Birthday weekend. That is still running today, that particular convention. Some of the old classic cars on the arena. Since these shots were taken, John, there's a group at Echuca have built their own track at they actually call it Steam Park, I understand, Rotary Steam Park, and there is a permanent track there now called the Cambaski Live Steamers. An unrestored traction engine. steam traction truck.
I know some of the flying weights, particularly in the stationary engines, going counterweights of some sort, a bit like a helicopter. What do they do?
Well, it actually balances the reciprocating masses. Yes. To stop vibration, mainly, and unevenness of running. Another shot of Puffing Billy in the early days. Up on the Dandenongs.
Yeah. I did some slides of the same thing the other day.
Now we're up at a track at Eddington, which is up near Maryborough. It's was on a private property called Loddon Vale, and it belonged to Dudley Smith. That's Colin Campbell driving one of his locomotives. Again, Dan with Ivy Hall. And the Toole boys playing on a traction engine in a park.
Where do you stay when you go interstate? Do you stay in caravan parks? Or?
A lot do. Some at motels, of course. Some of the bigger tracks or bigger ground tracks, there's camping available on site. As you can see, it's a very family orientated hobby.
Yes, very much so.
The kiddies and wives get together. Our convention being held of an Easter time, they do arrange for a Good Friday and Sunday service. The members at Wagga Wagga are lucky enough to have a minister who's keen on the hobby and has actually built a locomotive, and he often takes a service at Easter time. Now, as you can see now, we're going back up to Sydney to the live steam opening of their 5-inch gauge track.
1966.
Yes, a long time ago, John. And at this particular convention is where I first ran my locomotive, Evening Star, at a convention. So it holds memories for me.
Beautiful Sydney.
Yes. Usually, well, not usually, most times when we're interstate visitors are going to a convention, the club organises some trips, particularly for the ladies, because they get a little bit bored watching locomotives go round and round. And this particular time in Sydney, the club organised quite a large launch, and we did a tour of the harbour. So we've left this in the, as you suggested, John, we leave this in the video just to sort of break the monotonous up. And there's some quite good shots, so we won't say any more, and just it speaks for itself, and we'll let you watch these early shots on Sydney Harbour.
It's all history.
It certainly is.
Here it is being built.
Yes. Yes, there's... you won't see that again. That's Oliver Toole and young Tim again. Paul. The whole family in those days used to all travel to the conventions.
Was Maury there?
No, Maury wouldn't be there, no. Fort Denison, is that what that's called there, John? I think that's that island.
Yes, I think so, yeah. It's manned by the Rams.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
the women's, yeah.
Ah. Darrell Park.
I used to wave to you when you went by in the boat.
You sure they weren't sirens? There's yours truly with Evening Star unpainted. Actually, on one particular day I ran for, well, the locomotive was on the track for 7 hours. So that was a good running in period for it.
What's the maintenance like on these machines? Where is the most wear and things like that?
Mainly little bearings in the side rods in particular. Sometimes the bores, the main bore and piston valve wear, but usually it's just bearings is one of the things that we've got to keep an eye on, and naturally we keep them well lubricated. They're not lubricated mechanically normally, they're lubricated manually. We have a lubricator on the locomotive, a mechanical lubricator which feeds oil into the steam line, which is atomised and carried right through the steam circuit. That's Dr. Orr from Victoria, our president, with his 5-inch Pacific.
And it'd overcome the rusting problem, wouldn't it, the oil compression?
Oh yes, most important oils, particularly with cast iron cylinders, John. That gives you a shot of the ground level track, and as you can see, you can have passing loops on ground level tracks, which is a bit difficult on elevated track. This is Maury Turner there with his 5-inch Britannia.
It's pushing some steam out.
Yes, followed by Dr. Orr with his 5-inch Pacific.
Next generation on the back.
Yes, well we hope they are, John.
That's right.
There's Maury again with Britannia. I had the pleasure of driving that up at Eddington not long after it was built. There's a shot of the steaming bay again. And some of the ladies. The clubs cater for meals, John, during the convention, as you can see, fella there on the barbecue. So the ladies have a rest from cooking when they're away with the husbands and boyfriends.
That helps.
It does. Now, here's the official train. Now again, this is Neil Campbell's big Pacific with the southern valve gear, doing the honours at the official opening. That's Neil himself.
Easter 1966. It's all dolled up, isn't it?
Yes, with a bit of greenery on it.
Yeah.
There's Cess Gunning introducing, I'm told it was the mayor of the municipality where the track is. Not being a Sydney sider, I'm not sure where that was, John. Hello, looks like Neil's taking around an empty train, perhaps for a tryout.
Colour's good, isn't it?
Excellent.
It's been captured very well by that camera.
That fella looks like he's on camera. He looked like a cocky taking off. I think it was a guy by the name of Glover, I think. He certainly knew he was on camera.
Oh yeah.
looks like the official train again. Another action shot on the ground level track. There's Dan driving one of the other ladies around. And this is Bob Smith from Adelaide with his Class 900 diesel, South Australian diesel locomotive. That locomotive is also down at Port Dock Museum in Adelaide. That was the first diesel locomotives that South Australian Railways purchased. They were an English electric locomotive.
High up, isn't it?
Yes, yes, it gives you a good idea of the height, the fall in the actual land.
Yeah.
Looks like morning cuppa.
Yeah, morning cuppa, just about due.
Tim driving mum around with Ivy Hall. Robin Orr, Dr. Robin Orr with his beautiful Pacific. And there's a smoky fellow coming along there, John. But he's being pushed by a long line of locomotives.
Too much oil in there.
Yeah, too much fire. Including Evening Star, the unpainted loco there. That particular shot was featured in the Australian Model Engineer. I'm sorry, the English Model Engineer, and is being pushed by a diesel. Kirribilli.
In the 60s, of course.
Yes, yes, you can. It's usually ladies' fashions and cars that give us the era, don't they, John?
Oh, I think so. Yeah. You can tell by the model of the hulls.
My word.
It's a magnificent structure, isn't it?
Oh, it is so. It's awe-inspiring, isn't it?
Especially when you get up on the towers at the end.
Oh, gosh.
I've got my name in there somewhere.
Have you? In the book?
Yeah, yeah.
The visitor's book? Yeah. Another shot of the Opera House under construction. Shot we'll never see again.
Funny your signs there.
Yes, well signage, isn't it?
Close to get lost.
Now, we're back at Moorabin now, and this is the opening and the first convention. And the Moorabin guys wouldn't realise the difference in the track as it was then. The greenery and the trees that are growing there now. There's Colin Campbell on a tank locomotive. He's still very involved in live steam. He has his own track running as a business. There's Chris O'Toole filling up the watering can. As you can see, things weren't real easy in those days. Things were done manually. And that's the steaming up bays at Moorabin. Yes, it must have been the convention, John, because there's the marquee in the middle of the track for catering, for meals. That's Dr. Orr, I can tell by his white boater. It's a little bit dark there, John. I think Dan was into the dark sky. There's a general view of the steaming up bays. Quite a busy area. That's the 900 diesel, South Australian diesel. That looks like Ray Lee there from Sydney. I think this is yours truly with Andrew as passenger. Yes, it's Andrew and Dad just hopping on. Yes. There's taking on coal and water with Evening Star. Frank Carrig's Britannia, unpainted Britannia. The diesel 900 again. And here we have Sir Ronald East rocket. There's a fine piece of handiwork there, John. It's actually on was our portable track now, installed at the front of the grounds.
You need a truck to shift it, wouldn't you?
Yes. And there's a little bit of a ride-up on it. Yes, he was a very, very keen modeller, Sir Ron. New South Wales 32 class. You can see the steaming up bays were just on temporary blocks. Here's some of the keen ladies looking after the inner man for us. John Campbell and his wife. There's a couple of the Sydney guys there. Colin Campbell. Yes, now he's one of the young guys who's still interested in live steam. I think they call it a rat trap loco or something like that. Stephen Gale is his name. He's quite a man now with a family.
Where did Colin Campbell come from?
From Melbourne. He was a sign writer, had a big sign writing business. Yes. There's Dr. Orr and John Campbell.
Yeah, there's one out in the West District too.
Uh-huh. Dr. Orr again with his big Pacific. Bob Smith's 900. And David Hempel. And Evening Star again with a Geelong Flyer sign on the front. John, we had to fly the flag for Geelong. Bert Jones, very, very keen hard worker, washing down seats. And again we're up at Lake Goldsmith, and that was Clary Hall. Now we're up at Eddington. We saw some shots of this earlier at Loddon Vale. Geelong fellow John Ram there before. That's John again with his Virginia. Yours truly with Andrew and Rosemary. Here we have Ernie Clark with his R-Class. Ern was a shopkeeper and he did a remarkable job to build what he built. And this is one of the traction engines on the property. I think it was a Buffalo Pitts with some of the young kiddies on the back of it. Now we're back at Geelong again, and this is actually an earlier shot. I think Dan had the splicing round the wrong way, but you'll see Britannia there's painted green, and that was its colour when he first built it. So we've sort of gone backwards there, but it's still good footage.